Abhramam Ajadam Vimalam Sada Anandatirthamatulam Bhaje Tapatrayapaham Apadamauliparyantam Gurunam Akritim Smaret Tena Vignaha Pranashyanti Siddhyanti cha Manorathaha Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om. So I believe you people have had the first brush with understanding the vast literature that is present in Dvaita school of Vedanta. And I hope that you also understand the placement of Dvaita school of Vedanta amongst all other schools in yesterday's class. So what I will do today is to be able to cover the Yeah. So 1 minute, just I will do it here. Okay. So so today I will cover some very basics of the Madhva philosophy per se, and next class onwards we will start going into the details. So let me share my screen once. Yeah. I think I need to make her the co-host also. That is done. Okay. So I am sure that many of you must have heard about this verse here. Please let me know if the screen is visible or not.
Yes, visible.
It is visible. Okay. So this is a verse that is attributed to Sri Vyasatirtha, who is one of the stalwarts of the Madhva Yati Parampara, and amongst even not just Yati Parampara, he is considered one of the Munitrayas. That even has a Puranic reference. The Purana itself says that there are Madhvastu Kalpavruksha, Madhva Kalpavruksha, and Jayatirtha is like Kamadhuk. Chintamanistu Vyasarya, Munitrayam Udahatam. That is the shloka which comes there in one of the Puranas, which refers to Sri Mushna Mahatma. There, it says that, Madhva is like Kalpavruksha. Kalpavruksha is the tree which gives whatever you desire. And Jayarya is Kamadhuk, is like the Kamadhenu, which also it gives you whatever you desire. And then Vyasarya is the Chintamani, which is like almost like, a medicine which removes all your obstacles and so on and so forth. So, or your troubles also. So the Purana has compared these three saints to these three divine entities, and then they have said that, they are called Munitraya. So Sri Vyasatirtha has basically written this shloka. Sriman Madhamate Hari Parataraha Satyam Jagat Tatvato Bhinnaha Jivaganaha Harer Anucharaha Nichocha Bhavam Gataha Muktihi Naija Sukhanubhutihi Amala Bhaktischa Tatsadhanam Yakshadit Tritayam Pramanam Akhilam Nayika Vidyo Harihi. I'm sure many of you must have heard this shloka in your previous base or somewhere. You must have heard this one. So let's look a little into the, what is the apparent meaning, what is the basic meaning of this one. So so this is some sort of position statement. So in the Madhva Mata, Sri Hari is the most supreme. That's what is meaning of Hari Parataraha. Okay, Hari is Lord Vishnu, Narayana. I'm sure you must have heard about him. And he is the Hari Parataraha. Para means higher in general. Parataraha is also used in the sense of higher, this one. But like in the Gita, right, which says that Matta Parataram Kinchit Nanyadasti Dhananjaya. There is nothing which is more supreme to me. So the Lord is telling that there are other higher beings, but nothing is higher than me. So he is not only telling that he is the supreme, he is telling that there are other supreme, very exalted beings out there, but I am the most exalted one. I am the supreme. He has told that in Gita. The same thing is our motto also. What is the meaning of Hari? All those things will come to later. Okay, it is essential to understand that our fundamental conception of Vishnu is different from what most of the people will believe. Okay, we will come to all of these things in subsequent lectures. So we to just give you one brief on that. We all think that Vishnu is some guy who is sitting in one place called Vaikuntha, and he's sleeping on Sesha, and Lakshmi is pressing his feet, and then Brahma has sprung out of is seated in a lotus that has sprung out of his navel. This is the general image that we have of Vishnu. And little more depth, you will say, okay, he does these avatars and all those things. But our point is that that is just one of the forms. Okay, the main conception of Vishnu, or when we say Parabrahma, is that he is full of infinite auspicious attributes. Ananta Kalyana Guna Paripurna. That is the first thing we need to understand. The difference from other doctrines or a layman understanding of Vishnu when it comes to ours is primarily this. They all assume that Vishnu has a form which is limited in space. Ours is not like that. His same form is both finite and infinite at the same time, and is of all sizes. Okay, and his form. See, most of us, right? For example, take any of us, right? Our body is there. The body has a soul inside that. Okay, if you ask me, there is a palpable difference between the indweller and the body. Okay, so the body can be limiting, but the body is not the indweller. But for Vishnu, there is no such thing. His body is equal to his attributes, which is, what are his gunas? What are his attributes? Ananda, which is he is blissful. He is infinitely happy. Okay, so infinitely happy that he creates this world just for enabling our sadhana. He has absolutely nothing to gain from it. The Upanishad says, Aptakamasya kaspriha. Okay, he has nothing to gain from this. So again, this is a difference. People don't understand this thing don't understand this thing at all. They think that Vishnu is some guy, who is trying to protect Indra or somebody like that. It's not just that much. He is the Parabrahman who has absolutely nothing to gain or nothing to lose when he does all this creation, etc. And he does this infinite times. He has already done it infinite times, and he will do it infinite times in future. Okay, and he has infinite forms also. Okay, his forms are infinite, which is that Rama, Krishna, Narasimha, Kapila, Dattatreya, all these forms of Paramatma are infinite, not just in the spatial expanse. They pervade infinitely is one part. They are even permanent, even time-wise, even temporally also, they are infinite. There is no there is no time limit. There is no time when they were born, or there were no time when they were when they died or something like that. Especially when it comes to these avatara rupas, people make lots of mistakes over there. They think that Rama, Krishna, they had a beginning and they have an end or something like that. It is a form that is taken by Hari, Vishnu is what they think. But Acharya clarifies using multiple quotations that there are infinite of, they are always there. Okay, when it comes from, let's say the Krishna form comes from Devaki's womb. It's not like that form is there for the first time. That form has been there for infinite time. Okay. So there are fundamental differences from how laymen think of Vishnu and how we conceive Vishnu based on evidences from Purana. Yeah. Comparing. I'll do this thing. I'll come to this thing later. That is the next slide. I will come to that one. Okay. So there is a request that I need to compare this with other doctrines. I will do that thing little later. Just next slide actually. So then the next one is Satyam Jagat, which means that the world is real. That is pretty straightforward. Tattvato bhinnaha jivaganaha. Okay, which means that the jiva ganaha, the many categories of jivas are fundamentally different from each other and from Hari. That is the third meaning of the third line. Harehe anucharaha. They are all dependent on Hari. They follow Hari is the apparent meaning of this, but what it fundamentally means is that they are dependent on Hari. This is an important word, dependence. What it means is something that I will come in the next class, because when I cover ontology, our ontology is based on understanding what does Swatantra and Paratantra, what does it mean? Okay. Then Nichocha Bhavam Gata, which is to say that, there is a intrinsic, fundamental hierarchy between them. Okay. When I say hierarchy, it is not something that is, temporary. It is not something that is made up. It is not something that is situational. Okay. This is fundamental. Don't get perturbed by the word Nicha and all those things there. Nicha doesn't mean dirty or, bad or anything like that. It simply means, one person is lower than compared to the other person. On what terms? On what qualities are we even comparing them? So it is on attributes like their knowledge, their devotion to God, their devotion to their superiors, so or their capability to their radiance or their powers, bala, shakti, ojas, tejas. There are many qualities that even the jiva also has. All of these jivas, so for example, if you take a Rudra level jiva and if you compare that with an Indra level jiva, the Indra level jiva will have lesser devotion to Vishnu than a Rudra level jiva. That is the meaning of Nichocha Bhavangata. This is a mathematical term, so don't get perturbed by seeing the word Nichocha or anything like that over there. Okay. Then Muktihi Naija Sukhanubhutihi. Naija is Nija Bhava is Naija. So one's intrinsic bliss, right? When you experience that, that is same as Mukti. Okay. I will explain more on this thing. Then the next one is Amala Bhaktischa Tatsadharam. Unsullied, unalloyed, uncorrupted devotion is the sadhana, is the means to that mukti. Okay. And then Yakshadit Tridayam Pramanam. Aksha means eyes. Okay. But here it is used in the sense of perception, sensory perception. Okay. Eye is the main, one of the main senses. So Aksha is equivalent of saying Pratyaksha here, which is perception. Okay. Adi is there. Akshadi Tridayam. So there are three pramanas. Okay. That are admitted in our school. And what are those? Pratyaksha, Anumana, inference, and then Agama. And then finally we have Akhilam Nayika Vidyo Harihi. Hari, that is Lord Narayana, is the main referent of all sacred literature. So there are multiple, key terms there. One is main. Okay, he is the main reference over there. Eka Vedya means Mukhya Vedya. Okay. And Akhilam Nayaka, he is basically of all sacred literature. So now let's understand this thing a little deeper in each of them. Okay, that is when even what does it say? I'll come to that. So the point is that if you want to understand these things, right, this is just a position statement. This is a very, very brief summary that is put out there, right? To understand its depth, we need to understand the weight of each statement out there. We need to understand why, what is being offset over there. So you must have heard this example, right? In standard English, they say, right, depending on where you stress, right, the same sentence can mean multiple things. Have you heard about that? You know, my mother served me breakfast today. Let's say something like this, right? If I stress on the word my, it means that today it was my mother, not somebody else's mother who served me breakfast. If I say my mother served me breakfast today, it means that today it was mother, not somebody else, not father or somebody like that, right? So depending on where you stress, you will understand what is being offset, what is being differentiated from. You should, okay? This is called vyavritti in our terms. Okay. So the presence of each word will indicate what it is offsetting it against. Okay. Same thing. There is another very very standard example is there, right? They say this. I did not say that he stole the money. Same thing. If I stress on I, it means that, you know, not somebody else. I didn't say that. Or if I stress on the word say, it means I didn't say it. Maybe I wrote about it. Okay. So you should use the same principle to understand this particular thing itself. So when I say Hari is most supreme, right? What is that I am differentiating against? Okay. We come to that one. You're able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So when I say Hari is the most supreme, what is that? What is the underlying message over there? It means others are not supreme. Okay. Not only that, there is nobody who is equal or even superior to him, which is what is told in Gita. I told you, right? Matta paradaram nanyat kinchirasti dhananjaya. Very clearly, the Paramatma himself says that nothing is equal to me or superior to me. Arjuna also reports the same thing. You are called Sarvaha. Okay? Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi Sarvaha. You are called Sarva because you encompass, you pervade everything. Okay? And then he also said, Nat tvat samaha abhyadikaha kutosti. There is nothing which is equal to you, or where, when there is nobody even equal to you, how can even the question of superiority arise? Okay? So all other beings, be it Brahma, be it Rudra, Vayu, whoever deities you know, Asuras, Naga, Gandharva, anybody, nobody is equal to Sri Hari. His pervasion in space, in time, in qualities is unparalleled, Niratishaya. Okay? This is the most fundamental principle of Madhva philosophy. He is called Brahman because his quality is complete. The word Brahman means that. Okay? Brihanto yasmin gunaha. The Upanishad itself gives this particular definition. He is called Brahman because he is brimming. Even the word brimming is close to that. He is brimming with qualities. He is full of qualities. Brihante hi asmin gunaha. Okay? That's why he is called Brahman, Parabrahman. So others are not this. That is the underlying offsetting that is happening over there. I'll come. I think we'll take the questions after I finish this slide. Okay. Then Satyam Jagat, right? In fact, when I was a kid, I used to wonder as to what is the big deal. Why are we even saying Satyam Jagat is a, Something to debate about. I mean, you don't keep going around making a position statement saying, 2 + 2 is 4 types, right? So why should even it be a matter of, debate or concern kind of thing? But now when we grow, we understand that there are so many concerns around the reality of the world. So there are other schools of thought which try to, devise a many layered reality kind of thing. Okay. So they say this is temporarily real. This is all real just for now. But when you get some knowledge, all of this will just vanish in a woof. Just like when knowledge lands on you, you will realize that it is the rope and never the snake that you were fearing of. That's the, when that knowledge lands, the snake goes off, right? Just like that, just like an illusion getting corrected, this world's reality will get corrected. There is no world at all. Okay. So till then, yeah, let's accept that it is real, right? So there are systems of philosophy which accept this thing. They, in fact, they are little, they even want to call themselves idealistic and all those things, which is slightly on the, unrealistic slide per se. They are mostly non-realistic rather than idealistic is what I would think. So our statement here, Satyam Jagat, is because Vyasarajara is saying that, ours is, in our case, the world is as real as Hari himself. He makes the statement in one another grantha that he has written. It is called Nyayamrita. So he says that, there is just because, there is okay. So he basically says that, the world is as real as Narayana himself. Okay. What does real mean? What does real mean? Any thoughts on that one? Satyam, what does Satyam mean? Any thoughts?
Something that we can feel, something that we can touch, something that is there for a fact.
So if you can touch it, if it is the sun real or not real? Surya, is the sun real or not real?
It's real.
Is it possible that something that everybody experiences in the same way?
So
like
let's say
see the sun.
I have a small problem. Let's say you are all experiencing sun. I refuse to admit that. Will it become unreal?
No, it's real.
No, it wouldn't.
So what is real then? I mean, is it or reality? Is it determined democratically? Basically, let's all take a vote, and then let's determine what is reality. Does it work like
No,
that?
it is individual experience, I can say.
So now, please tell me what is real then.
It's factual. It is a fact. It is a truth.
Yeah, but that is you are repeating. You are translating, sir. What is its meaning?
It's like a eternal.
Sir, the guna and karma of an object which is perceived in the same way by every person.
No, but again, I told us every
because
So is it something that is that has pramana?
senses perceptions are true on that basis.
Objective reality and not.
I will help there little bit. So Satyam in general means abhajitam. Okay, in our system, it means abhajitam. Okay, anaropitam tattvam. That is the thing that you will get there. Anything that is not superimposed, anything that is not an illusion. It is a slightly a negative way of looking at it. Anything that is not an illusion is real. That is the way it has been put over there. We will come into greater depth on this thing. Anything that has a contact in at least one point in time and space is real. That is one more way of looking at it. And anything that has a point of contact with at least one point in time and one point in space. Space-time coordinates is there now. If you should have it at least one should be there, then it is real. See, when you see a snake, when you see a rope as snake, That snake doesn't have any spatial or time coordinate. It is all there only in your mind. Right? So that is one way to look at it. Okay. Anything that does not get corrected, okay, that is not correctable, is also satyam. That is the what do you call, abadhitam. Okay. So there are multiple what do you call, definitions or multiple. How is God? So what? But he is pramana only. No? He has there is a pramana to him. So anything that is an object of valid knowledge is real. Okay. So your snake illusion, right? That rope snake illusion case. Your snake is there. It does not have any valid source of knowledge. Correct. No, it has been invalidated. It's not like it is not validated. It's validated in the negative way. Then look at the other. Let's come back to this point here. So when it is said the world is real, Satyam Jagat, basically you are offsetting, you are differentiating your situation, your position, your school from anything else which says that the world is not, what do you call, it is not real, it is unreal, or anything that occurs temporary validity to the world here, or anything which says that okay, the world is real for now but not forever. Our point is that it is valid forever. I mean, it is true, it is real. That's what we are trying to say. Tattvado bhinnaha jivaganaha. So again there, what are the things that are, what are the situation, what are the schools, what are the thoughts, or what are the positions that you are differentiating yourself from? Anything, any position which says that there is only a single jiva. Okay, there are some schools of thought which say that there is a single jiva. Okay, so in our case, we are saying there are jiva ganaha. It's not eka jiva vada. Okay, ours is there are infinite jiva ganas. Okay, there is jiva ganaha. Okay, it is not just jivaha. He didn't just use the word plural for jiva. The fact that he has used jiva ganaha is to basically say that these are all, there are infinite such types or many such types. There is not single jiva type or anything like that. Okay. Tattvato bhinna.
Sorry for the interruption. There's doubt. Which is that particular school of Vedanta that tells there is only one jiva?
There is one school of Advaita. Within Advaita school itself, there is one which talks about Eka Jiva Vada.
Okay.
Okay. So Acharya has, there are two types of schools there also. Okay. And both of these things happen within the Vivarana school itself. So there they hold that one of them holds that the jiva is, there is only one jiva. And when that jiva gets realization, then the jiva brahmaikya will be realized. Then the moksha will happen types. The other one is Bahujiva Vada. So Acharya has criticized both these possibilities and says that none of them can explain why we should do sadhana. And then he gives lots of other logical issues with either of these positions. Okay. Yeah. Tattvato bhinnaha. Tattvato means fundamentally. Okay. So there are other people right now. See, some people say that there is one infinite consciousness around. It is there everywhere. Okay, depending on which covering you look at, okay, you will get a different feel of that. Okay, so for example, the example that they give is take the infinite akasha around you, the space around you. Then you look at the you cover some portion of that with a pot, or basically you'll refer to the space within a pot as this is pot space, ghatakasha, right? This is, you start referring to that space, but it is one unified space. So you have one infinite space, but using conditioners, okay, upadhi. like the pot or whatever it is, you will say, okay, this space is related to the pot. That space is related to this building. You know, that space belongs to this guy, so on and so forth. Space is one. So this is how they argue. Okay. Similarly, they say the consciousness is infinite, but depending on which body, mind, antahkarana, depending on which lens you see that thing, that it will appear to be that particular jiva. So jiva is there, but that jiva is basically a view through a particular lens. It is just like it is like an container through which you are seeing the infinite consciousness. Okay. So here the jiva is there. Okay, but it is not tattvato bhinna. They are not tattvato bhinna. They are temporarily, they are different. So if I remove that particular, if I break that pot, it becomes infinite again. If I say, okay, this space is in pot 1, this space is in pot 2, I will say that. And then we will be able to, compare those things. But the moment you break those pots, there is nothing which truly differentiates the space between them. Similarly, they contend, they hold that jiva is like that space within these two different pots. So one jiva is basically the infinite consciousness, which is not, I wouldn't say trapped per se, which is, let's say, limited by a particular set of deha, indriya, antahkarana. Another deha, indriya, antahkarana is there, and secondly, another pot 2 is there. That is another jiva is there. So these two jivas are not fundamentally different. They are temporally different. So we are saying ours is not like that. Ours is fundamentally, they are different. It is nothing to do with just the, like the way the pots play the role over there of just being a conditioner. There is no such thing here. The condition, it is very fundamentally ingrained in the jiva swarupa itself to be different from everything else. That is the meaning that we are, that is the underlying meaning of saying tattvato bhinnaha jiva ganaha. Yeah, fundamentally itself they are different. It's an important point actually. Yeah. And there are many other differences that we will see later. See, for example, they are assuming there is one infinite consciousness over there. One infinite consciousness is there in our this thing also. Okay. But we are not that infinite consciousness. And ours is not part of that one or anything like that. Our consciousness is different. Their consciousness is different. We will come to what does consciousness mean. That we will come to in. Which one? What I'm trying to show here is basically when you say tattvato bhinna jivaganaha, on the face of it, it means the multitudes of jivas are fundamentally different. But try to understand what is it is espousing there. It is basically when you say fundamentally different, it means you are trying to differentiate your position from other schools' positions, which say that jiva is temporary, or jiva is the difference between jivas is temporary, or any school which says that the differences between the jiva is because of some other adjuncts, upadhi, okay, like the pot 1, pot 2, or whatever it is. Our point is that they are fundamentally different. Very important point. That's why tattvato bhinna. Harer anucharaha. Okay, that is the next one. Harer anucharaha. Why does he say that? The main point is that it is not just now. Okay, in the infinite past and in the infinite future, okay, we will always be dependent on Sri Hari. This is different. This will differentiate you from other schools which say that, okay, you appear to be different now. Later you will see that all of you are same. That is one way. Or any other school which says that, look, you are different, but eventually you will become equal to him. No, that is also not the case. We will always be dependent on Sri Hari. Okay, that is the underlying message here. Okay. Sorry. Jada also actually. But here he is talking about, since the context is Jiva Gana, he is saying he's talking about that this one. But even Jada, for it to exist, it has to depend on Hari. So when we study the ontology in the next subsequent classes, you will talk about that also. In fact, in Parimala, I think, Raghavendra Swami, I mean, it comes in many places. They say that even for non-existent to be non-existent, right? For example, you have this Shasha Vishana. Have you heard about Shasha Vishana? Shasha means hair, rabbit, hair. Okay. This is a standard example for a non-existent object in Vedanta. Okay. It doesn't have horns. The hair doesn't have horns. So a hair's horns is an absolutely non-existent entity. For it to be like that, Hari's will is needed. Sri Hari has to do sankalpa, let it not be there, and then only it will not be there. Okay, that is the reason why we also don't have horns. At least the visible ones, right? So even for non-existent things, Vishnu's sankalpa is needed. Okay. This will become clearer when we do the ontology part. Okay. Okay. So there Jada is also getting covered. Okay. Nichocha bhavam gataha. This is another important point, right? Basically, I think I covered it last time a little bit. This is not temporary. Basically, it means to say that, this hierarchy is not influenced. It is not situational. Okay, you must have heard, when you are playing chess or whatever it is, right? Or you must have seen it in politics also, right? There are some places where you have some positional advantage. Okay. Or you'll say, what, this guy will win the elections because that is his forte. It's not like he's essentially very strong or anything like that, but that is his place. Okay. On some days, you may have a little bit of extra luck. Okay. All of those things can create a feeling of gradation, that he is superior, he is lower, and all those things. So we may think that, for example, Rudra being greater to Indra is something like that. It is not. It is fundamentally ingrained. This is told in the Upanishad also. If Indra experienced X times Ananda, X bliss, let's say, for the hypothetical sake, let's say we put it as X. Rudra will have 100 times of that. That much bliss he will experience. Because it is there fundamentally in his Swarupa itself. That is, it is innate to him. That is what the meaning of next one. Okay. So point here is that this Nichocha Bhava, basically Taratamya, is not created. It is not situated. It is not a positional thing. It is not accidental. This is fundamental. That is the meaning there. Then Muktihi Naija Sukhanabhutihi. So some people, they think of Mukti as a place where there is no sorrow. Very important thing here, right? What is your conception of Mukti? What does moksha mean? No, that Ananda you are getting now. If you
Get rid of sorrow.
Huh?
Get rid of sorrow.
So get rid of sorrow. You sleep, right? In your deep sleep, you will get rid of sorrow. Is it moksha?
Permanent, eternal. Forever.
Eternally.
Samsara bandhana.
Sorry.
Samsara, mukti from the samsara. This, temporary happiness and sorrow. That's what.
See, the word mukti means
to come out of the cycle of life and death.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, life, if let's say there is life is basically you get a body, and death is when you lose that body. Okay. So the cycle of life and death, let's say you have come out of it. Okay. Is it same as moksha, liberation? Go a little deeper. What actually is desirable to you? See, moksha is a purushartha, right? It is
Yeah.
something that should be
Eternal
motivated.
bliss. He means.
It should incentivize you, right?
Yeah.
What should be the nature of that moksha, which will make it appealing to you? After all, you are trying to do this course because eventually you think that you'll get that moksha somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe what I
Eternal
personally,
bliss,
something that maybe we are always with God and seeing him always. So that is what is going to give us the maximum ananda always.
No.
Right now, we cannot experience that. No?
Right. So, which part of that is moksha according to you? Seeing God or being happy?
No, the happiness is seeing him, right? So
No, because you are seeing him, you are getting happy is one part of it. So, see,
Yeah.
I think if you look, yeah, there is one more question there. Hello.
hello. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm
So-
listening. I'm listening.
Yeah. So there are two parts to here. Okay. When we say samsara, right, or even cycle of life and death, our problem is not truly about losing this body or not losing this body. Okay. In fact, many people, right, there are many experiments that are going on for anti-aging and all those things. Okay. Is it going to really serve the purpose?
No,
Is
no.
it going to give you permanent happiness?
No.
So, yeah, what is the most endearing part of moksha? Moksha means liberation. Liberate from what?
Samsara bandha. That's what I can say.
Attachment.
No. So I will.
Temporary bondage. What we are having.
So
and
from the
connecting it to
Prakriti Bandha, the liberation is what is moksha.
So what does you are basically? I think all of you have told in parts correctly. So Prakriti Bandha means bondage. Okay, it is like somebody putting you in the jail, right? And to liberate is to basically come out of that jail. Okay, but what is the impact of that jail? What is the impact of that Prakriti Bandha on you? The impact
Not
is
realizing the own self.
it is not realizing your own self.
Ah.
That Swarupa Ananda is not there.
Yes.
Okay. So the main part of this moksha is there are two parts there. One is absolute zero sorrow. And then there is continuous happiness. So permanent happiness and no sorrow. That is what makes makes it appealing, makes it endearing, makes it a purushartha. Now, some schools of thought, right, they say that it is only the termination of sorrow. If your sorrow stops, it is your moksha. Will it be appealing to you if only that much is there? Let's say I tell you, okay, I will put you in coma. Right? I'll put you in coma. You will not have any sorrow. Will it be appealing? It will not be.
No, because we won't experience any joy also. We don't have that consciousness.
That is what Acharya says in this thing. In many other places, he says that also. How can, he teases Nayayika on same thing. What kind of, you should try to at least think whether your Purushartha is a Purushartha or not, right?
Yeah.
This is one. So we are offsetting that by saying Sukhanubhutihi. So it is experience of bliss. Now the question is, where is this bliss coming from?
Within us.
That is because I have written it over there. But
Sarupa Ananda.
yeah, but the question is, so anything which says that look, you will get your Ananda from Vishnu or Ananda from eating an apple. Okay, in Moksha, for example, in Mahabharata, they talk about the liberated jivas. They also take on forms like Vishnu. Okay, they also become four-armed, they become blue in color, and then they roam around happily. Okay, so they get their happiness from these acts. So the question is that happiness, whatever they are experiencing, is it coming because of the act or it is intrinsic to them? So our position is that it is intrinsic to them. So in Bhagavata, there is one line. Okay. Anyatha rupam hitva swarupena vyavasthitihi is moksha. Okay. Anyatha rupam hitva. basically discarding that form, that whichever is you are not, and being situated in that way that you truly are is moksha. This has I'll repeat that thing. Anyatha rupam hitva swarupena vyavasthitihi. Anyatha rupam hitva means discarding what you are not. Swarupena vyavasthitihi, being situated as you are, as you truly are. That self is moksha. So there are many psychological, there are many of these self-motivational kits these days, okay, which try to tell that, you be as you are and so on and so forth. Our point is that you will truly be like that only in moksha. Don't even attempt like that in this world today. Landmark, or if you go to any of these forums, they will try to teach you, or if you take something like, what is that thing called? Neuro-linguistic programming. Some NLP or something like that is there, okay? They'll all try to tell you that, look, you just be as you are. You shouldn't care about everything else and so on and so forth. That is not going to happen here. That will happen only in moksha. And because you don't know what you yourself are at this moment. So this is a part of self-discovery. Okay. This entire sadhana is not just to reach Vishnu. In the process, you will discover yourself also. Okay, according to Acharya. For how long? And then you ask them, what happens after, let's say, 2-3 years. It will again be back to this thing. I mean, yeah, it is like eating jalebi only. At that time, you'll feel happy. After that, you will suffer from diabetes. Yeah, there is a big difference there. From Brahman's this thing, his is not just continuous, his is infinite. Sorry. The question here is, you mentioned 2 attributes of moksha. One which is that continuous bliss, and then no sorrow. Aren't these attributes of Brahman? Is what the question here is. The answer to that is, there are 2-3 differences of Brahman from ours. One, it is infinite. Okay, in moksha, we are not getting infinite happiness. In terms of quantum, the magnitude is not infinite. Time-wise, it is infinite. You heard the difference now. So Brahman is quantum, the magnitude itself is infinite. Okay. So much so, see, we admit in Madhva school, we admit a gradation of infinities. One infinity can be greater than other infinity. Okay. The standard example that is given in other this thing is, if you take the set of real numbers and if you take the set of natural numbers, okay, both are infinite. But the order of infinitude of real numbers is much greater than that of natural numbers. Both are infinite. So Paramatma, his infinitude is of unsurpassable, unthinkable infinitude. Okay. So that is the definition, or that is the way to understand Vishnu here. Okay. So his infinite, not just Ananda, his Bala, Ojas, okay, Kanti, Tejas, handsomeness, okay, or the number of forms, or his, knowledge, okay, or even if you go deeper, clarity in that knowledge, all of that is infinitely greater than everybody else. Even that of Lakshmi. His is much superior, infinitely superior to hers also. Though she is also infinite. Okay? Just before this, we had this. So each jiva's role is sitting. So I oversimplify it like each jiva's it is based on this purpose. Something I have just like this. Yeah, that's correct. No, that is correct only. It is all internal. Basically, whatever is that there in that jiva, that will get manifested in its in moksha to its complete extent or almost complete extent. In samsara, it is not manifest, none of those things are manifest completely. There are some cases when the intrinsic bliss is manifested a little bit. Okay, they talk about that in, we'll talk about that later. But the what is there in the core sense, that comes out later on. Okay, what is there in the core thing, that I will come to later, now only, from this thing. What is the time now? How much time do we have? Huh? Okay, then I'll do that. Okay, then finally we have Akshadit Tritayam Pramana. Okay, so there are three pramanas. Pramana means sources of valid knowledge. Okay, 1 minute, I'll come to the questions later. I'll come to the questions immediately after this slide. Okay, there are three pramanas. Pramana means I am actually jumping the gun here. This is the this topic will be dealt in much greater detail by Srinidhi in the next class, that is next weekend. Here I'm trying to just look at more like I'm trying to translate whatever Vyasaraj has written. That's all. So, but this will need much more discussion. Please don't use this answer to answer his questions, because he is going to ask you to come up with the number of pramanas and all those things by yourself. Okay, and please participate in that exercise as if you don't know this line. Okay. So the point here is that there are no more or no less. There are some people, for example, the Nastikas, right? They will say that there is only one pramana, which is perception, pratyaksha. Okay. How do you prove Vishnu? Why do you think Vishnu exists? Why do you think God exists? We will say Agama is there. Okay. Agama means scripture. For us, scripture is the only source of knowledge about, only valid source of knowledge about God. Not just God, about anything that is atindriya, beyond senses. Okay. So people who keep saying scientifically proven and all those things need to do a little bit of check there. Because God is not something that is available to your perception, observation. When science depends on observation, what are the three steps there? Observe, hypothesis, and test. He is not observable at all. So, but people have this tendency to pull all sorts of logic for proving God and all this, right? Not just God, even for, let's say, dharma, right? You should do this, you should not do this. For us, all of those things, right? If you do this, you will get punya. If you do this, you will get papa. What is the basis of saying any of these things? It is in the scripture. Why should we believe that scripture? That is what will come in the next one, next slide. Okay. Akhilam nayika vedyo hari. So, which means that, there are, again, what are you differentiating from? You are differentiating from any other school which takes any of these positions. Okay. There are multiple gods that are told there. All of them are referenced. Okay. Like your Bhimamsa school, for example. There is no one single creator God. Or some people say there is God, Devata is just a name that is given over there. There is no real entity over there. It is just, or as people say, you know what, there is just an energy. There is no God or anything like that. Nothing of that sort here. Here basically saying that there is God, there is one infinite God, there is only one of them. Everybody else is subservient to them, and that is Hari. Okay. We will see more on this thing. And some people say, okay, Parabrahman is there, right? He cannot be described. You cannot capture him or her in your English or in your speech. They are beyond any referenceable talk. You can only go around the thing, but you cannot pinpoint and then say this is what it is. Okay. They even use some words like from the Upanishads, neti, and they will try to claim that God, Parabrahman, is beyond all speech. He is not truly knowable. Okay. So they hold that Parabrahman basically is like Dashamastvamasi or something like that. It is after doing all introspection and things like that. Okay. Basically, you will have a certain point of realization. That realization has not that, you are the 10th in the entire group or, okay, don't worry about that part right now. So when you have a realization, there is no pramana that has given you that realization. You just realize. Same thing applies to Parabrahma. It is not, all this scripture, everything is to help you take to a particular point. After that, you will realize it yourself. That is what their claim is. What is Vyasarajara saying? He is saying nothing of that sort. Khilamnayaka Vidyo Harihi. He is Vedya. He is an object of speech. He is an object of knowledge. The only thing is that he is not completely knowable. He is knowable. He is not unknowable. He is knowable, but to a very, 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 very little extent. This is the main, this one. Let's look at the questions now. Amnaya.
Sir, we missed
all means
number 7, I think. Amala Bhaktisha Tatsadhan.
Sorry?
7th point. Amala Bhaktisha
Sorry.
Tatsadhan.
Amala Bhaktishta Tatsadhan. Thank you, sir. Okay. Amala Bhaktishta means, see, basically, some, again, what are you offsetting against, right? What are you offsetting against? First of all, some people think that.
Jnana is enough.
No, 1 minute. I'll come to that. I'll come there. Some people think there are many, many paths to moksha. Okay. Everybody has their own path. Okay. Don't criticize others. It is very easy to say these things. But does the scripture say that? But does the scripture give you that kind of this one? So when you look at the scripture, the main means to moksha is jnana. Okay. But jnana should have, there are 3 facets of the same coin here. Now it's not coin per se. Let's look at it as a maybe a pyramid or something like that. Right. One is bhakti, another one is jnana, and another one is vairagya. Only when all these 3 are there, you can call it amala bhakti, unsullied. Okay. Most of the times, when we do not have jnana, it is a simple emotion. I'm in trouble. I say, hey, Bhagavan, give me something. That's it. That is not amala bhakti. Okay. That kind of bhakti will maybe help you get rid of some problem that is there right there. But that will not give you moksha. Moksha is when you say, God, you are great. Okay. You are infinite. Ananta Kalyana Gunapurna. Sarva dosha vivarjita. And then out of pure appreciation of that particular entity, right, you'll start loving God. That is, and your love cannot be stopped in spite of you being in the midst of 1,000 problems. Some guy is pulling your leg and somebody is trying to pound you. Nothing is stopping you from thinking about Vishnu, and you are happy to be thinking about him. When that state is reached, that is amala bhakti. That kind of bhakti will give you moksha. So Jayatirtha makes a very, very nice description of this thing in his Sudha. Niravadika anantanavadya kalyana guna jnana purvaka. Acharya himself also says this thing. Mahatma jnana purvakastu sudrudaha snehaha sarvatodikaha bhaktiriti prochate taya muktir nachanyatha. What is the meaning of amala bhakti? Mahatma jnana purvakaha. It should be led by unflinching knowledge of Paramatma's Mahatmya. You should be astounded by what all Vishnu is doing. And if you start reading scripture, you will be astounded. Oh my God. Every newspaper will appear like a scripture to you, because that is all Vishnu's work everywhere. Right? And then Mahatma Jnana Purvakaha, Sudrudaha, very firm. It should not be like many of these asuras, right? They will be temporarily, they will be seeking some boon, and the moment they see a slight disturbance, they will ditch their conviction, goes for a toss. Ours is not like that. Your conviction should be ultra firm. Sudrudaha sarvatodhikaha snehaha. You love yourself, you love your family, you love your society, work, all those things. But your love for Vishnu is many, many, many times more than love for anything else. Then that is called bhakti. That bhakti will lead to moksha. Other not anything else. This is what Acharya has said. And that is the meaning of Amala Bhaktista Tatsadhanam. So for example, there is one school of thought which says that, you know what, you just surrender to God and then you keep doing whatever you feel like. He will give you moksha. That is not what it is. Okay. And because that is not true surrender also. It is just, you are just saying it, you don't really mean it. Okay. There is someone Prapatti school or something like that. Okay. You can go read about it later. But they have this problem there. Most of us, whatever we think as bhakti is not really bhakti. It is just some emotional downpour. That's all. It is not bhakti as defined in the scripture here. Okay. With that said, let's go to the questions. After this, I have some more point there. After each prameya, could you give? I think I tried doing that a little bit there. We will talk about the Purva Paksha and all those things as we go further. Hitesh, we will see more of them in the subsequent classes. I think from day one, if we start looking at it, we will stop understanding what our the Siddhanta itself is. Okay. Does this mean that Ramayana and Mahabharata happen in each Mahayuga with same sequences? So there are, from a time scale point of view, right? Sorry. From a time scale point of view, Mahabharata, the Brahma has 100 years of age, let's say. That is called one Brahma Kalpa. Okay. And in that Brahma Kalpa, you will have many days of Brahma. Okay. So in one day of Brahma, you have that is called Dinakalpa. In that each one day, okay, you have 14 Manvantaras. Okay. And in 14 Manvantaras, you have again within each, you have I think 71 Mahayugas or something like that is there. Okay. Approximately. And so in each Mahayuga, so our point is that it's not there in all of them. In Ramayana, Rama comes in some of the Mahayugas, not all of them. Same as even the Pandava, this thing also doesn't happen in all of them. It happens only in some Mahayugas. For example, Madhva's Avatara as this one, or Narayana's Avatara as Vedavyasa happened in this 28th Mahayuga. It does not happen in the previous one or in the next one. In the next Mahayuga, it will be Ashwatthama who will take the role of Vedavyasa. Okay. So on and so forth are there. So there are some differences. Paramatma himself being born as Vedavyasa happens in some third Mahayuga, and then Acharya has given a list in his Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnaya on this one. So, but the point is that, yeah, so not every Mahayuga, but most of the Mahayugas, they do happen. Okay. Then, can Sakshi be considered Pramana in Tattvavada? Of course it is. That is the main thing. Is it a separate category? It is not a separate category. It falls under Pratyaksha only. We have Saptavidham Pratyaksham. Yes, there are 7 types of Pratyaksha. If I tell more of that, I will be eating into Srinidhi's class. So I will let him come to that thing later. Okay.
So sorry, the Sakshi means it is a Jiva Swarupa itself, right? You mean to say here?
Yes.
Okay.
It is basically the sensing part of Jiva Swarupa.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Then there was one more. Can you kindly tell what is the meaning of intrinsic in point 5? So intrinsic means it is not imposed or external or whatever it is. It is innate to that particular thing. For example, let's take an apple, right? That apple, let's say you have put a lot of gloss on that and it is shining now. Okay. That shine is not innate to that particular apple. In fact, you should not eat those apples wherever there is shine. Apples, if they are natural, they will not have that shine. Correct. So that gloss, that wax, whatever is there, it is not innate to it. That appleness is, for example, innate to it. Okay. So same thing here, this taratamya or this, the hierarchy, the gradation between the jivas is innate to them, which means that, an Indra level jiva will always be different, less than Rudra or Garuda or Sesha. Okay. That is the meaning of innate. Then I'm absolute truth. Sorry, I couldn't undebate. Okay. I think I understood this one. Can you please explain Upadhi in the context of Ghataka? I think we'll need to wait till Sridhi and even Pratosh for that, but I will explain that thing a little later. Hitesh, I think we need to just wait for other people also to catch up on this one, okay? The Upadhi means it is the adjunct, right? For example, when we talked about, what do you call, space, and how one infinite space is dealt with, is transacted as many spaces, right? But just because of pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, right? By Advaitas, right? So you'll say pot 1 space, pot 2 space, pot 3 space. We keep saying that, right? So they say that these are all Jiva is also like that. Jiva 1, Jiva 2, Jiva 3 is just like pot 1 space, pot 2 space, pot 3 space, just like that. The moment the pot breaks, it merges with the infinite Akash. That is the example that they give. So
It is like
their underlying point? Underlying point is that there is one undifferentiated infinite space that is getting temporarily, not even temporarily, that is seen. It may appear that it is getting constricted to one particular thing, but the moment that upadhi, that pot is broken, you will see that there is no difference. That is what they are trying to say. But Acharya says, upadhi vedasya jnapakaha, natu karakaha. He says this thing, okay? It is not one undifferentiated space. There are multiple avayava of space itself, okay? The pot one, it did not create a difference. It manifested an existing difference, okay? And the pot breaks, that difference is not seen, but that space is, anyway, we know that it is a part, and you see that the rest of it is whole. So it is not that the upadhi has created a non-existing difference. The upadhi has only manifested an existing difference. So your example of using this to say how Jiva and Brahma are, the only difference in terms of whether there is a upadhi or there is no upadhi is not tenable. That is the point he makes in, Acharya makes in his Upadhi Kandana. Bhedasya jnapakaha natu karakaha. It needs a lot more explanation than what I just gave. We'll come to that this one. Then, do Nayayika say becoming Jada like is moksha? I think more than Nayayikas, I think Sankhya and all these people, they talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, none of their moksha is really appealing, Hitesh. I mean, I don't know why they try to even create that philosophy if their final destination is not that great, right? Anyway, isn't Sri Lakshmi's infinite part of Sri Lakshmi? No, it is not. See, that is the point here, right? We can have part means what at the end of it? Is it derived from there or it is dependent on Sri Hari's this thing? Yes, every one of our attribute is dependent on Vishnu's will to manifest that particular thing. For example, if I am able to cognize myself now, it is because Vishnu has willed that way. Okay, but my cognition is same as Vishnu's cognition? It is not. Similarly, Hari's infinity is different, Lakshmi's infinity is different. They may overlap in the same space, but the experiencer is different. Okay. Then Hitesh, he is very, I think Hitesh already knows a lot of stuff there. Why is Upamana, Anupalabdhi, Arthapatti not considered separate Pramana categories? I think you will need to wait for Srinidhi to explain that one. I think you know the answer also there. But yeah, let's wait for that particular class. Is happiness to be seen directly proportionate to the quantum of knowledge? Very nice point actually. right? It is in moksha, whatever happiness you are experiencing is not only is yours, there is no doubt about that. But your happiness also is indicative of the level at which you are, right? If I am, let's say, level 1 jiva, there is another level 2 jiva. Level 1 jiva will have, let's say, more happiness. It also means that level 1 jiva has more knowledge about Hari. So it is not just happiness, it is not just knowledge, it is even things like, prakasha, radiance. Okay. So, or what all I can do. Okay. Prakasha is very different. So a mukta jiva is also very radiant. In one of the samhitas, it says that a truna jiva can light up to 3 miles in moksha also. Okay, that is the level of just by themselves. They don't need any tube light or anything like that. Just by themselves, they can do this. Which one? No, it is not possible. No, that is not possible. See, there is which stage are you talking about? In samsara. So how do you measure moksha, jnana or bhakti here? We will not be able to measure. No, it is only left for Sri Hari and Vayu to figure that thing. I mean, rather they know it, but I am just saying that how will we know? For example, if you ask me right now, do I have less or more knowledge than you? I will say I do not know that. Right? There is one more question. Sorry, what was that? How did the jiva get prarabdha karma? Sorry about that.
That is anadi. No? So it is anadi, right? I mean,
it is anadi.
Karma.
So prarabdha, there is jiva has anadi karma. Okay, what gets labeled as prarabdha is slightly different. Whatever has started taking fruit, action as fruit. For example, today I am having cough. It is because of some prarabdha karma. There may be a lot of other baggage. Okay, but all of that baggage doesn't have to be prarabdha. Whatever karma has started giving fruit, that is prarabdha. Okay, that is one definition of that. Sorry, 1 minute. What is that thing? Oh, so sorry. The question that he asked was, is it possible that one person has more knowledge and less bliss compared to less devotion compared to another person with more devotion and less knowledge? Or I mean, I mixed it up, but yeah, but that is the point. Can there be different ratios of knowledge and devotion in 2 different people? So in moksha, the answer is not possible. In samsara, how will you determine is my answer. Okay.
Sir, I have one question here. Is Vayudeva and Brahmadeva will have the same knowledge and bliss? Because the current Vayudeva will be taking over charge of Brahmadeva next Kalpa, right?
Correct.
So will the Brahmadeva and Vayudeva will have the same level of knowledge and bliss, or is there any differences?
When?
I mean, their instinct I'm talking about. I mean,
No.
moksha level.
Let's look at it right now. Okay. As it stands today,
Okay.
Brahma is 1 Brahma Kalpa ahead of Vayu in his sadhana.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is superior.
Yeah.
But that superiority is not innate. It is because of Padavi Krita Taradamya. Okay. Because he started 1 Brahma Kalpa earlier, he has more sadhana. Therefore, he is superior. Okay.
Okay.
But let's say at the end of this, at the end of this Brahma Kalpa, Brahma will go to moksha.
Yeah.
Okay. Next Brahma Kalpa, the current Vayu will become Brahma, and at the end of he will At the end of it, he will become mukta.
Correct.
Both of those, basically now there are two mukta brahmas.
Yes.
They will experience the same amount of bliss. Acharya has given this thing very explicitly in Bhagavad
Okay.
Tattva.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I will give you the pramana later, but
Okay.
he has more talked about this.
Okay. Okay.
Something like that is there. Okay.
Okay. That means the sadhana will have the value there. I mean, importance on that. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See, there is one sloka in Mahabharata Tattva. Okay.
Okay.
Avardhatam bhaktirelam kshane kshane tvaisha mekhrasa vivarjita sada anugrahaste maichaivameva nirupadhautau mama sarva kamaha. Okay. This is the prayer that Hanuman asks when Rama says, what do you want? What is the boon you want? Hanuman says this thing. My devotion should multiply every second.
Okay.
Okay? And it should be unconditional. It should not be dependent on me trying to get something from you types.
Yeah.
Pravardhatam bhaktiralam kshane kshane. Every second it needs to multiply. He asks for this. Now imagine Brahma would have also done the same thing last kalpa, no?
Yeah.
So
Correct.
that is the level of difference they are talking about. And
Yeah,
both
yeah.
of them are anyway beyond our reach. That is the difference.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So
now-
when you say it is 100 times, like for Indra's sadhana or jnana and bliss is 100 times more than lower than Rudradeva. So it's 100 times means it's like koti you can take, or it is sahasra, because there is a different definitions, right? For sahasra, dasha, shata, like that.
Adhiraja Swami gives a point that it is 2 power 100.
Pardon?
Okay. It is 2 power 100. When you say Sahasra Gunam or whatever it is Shatagunam, it is 2
Okay.
power 100. Okay.
Mhm.
And there are other cases where this definition is the most apt one of what does it is not into 100. It is 2
Okay.
power 100. So if Indra has X Ananda, Rudra will have 2 power 100 into X Ananda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll come to this last question later, okay, because that is the reason why I wanted to.
Okay.
We took all these things, right? We talked about all of this, but where is the evidence?
Yes.
We can keep making position statements, but there is evidence. On what basis are we saying all these things? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is the point which we should be talking about, which I will do in the next session.
Okay.
So before just, I will want to talk one small thing. There are two cornerstones, okay, for our philosophy. These are if you understand these things, if you can understand from first principles, okay, you don't need to start from a pre-existing belief that
Yes.
Madhvacharya is right or any of us are right. Okay, but if you start from basic universal experience,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
using pure logic, you will come to there are two cornerstones.
Correct.
And the entire Madhva philosophy is built on the rest of it, on these two things. One
Yes.
is Dehad Bhinna Jiva, another one is Veda Apaurusheyatva. So I will cover both of these things in small quantity, slightly in the next week session.
Okay.
But everything else is built on top of this. How do you even know Vishnu exists? That there exists something called a soul, which is fundamentally different from matter.
Here soul means jiva, right? You meant to say?
Jiva is one way to look at it. How do you even know that Jiva, there is something called as Jiva?
Yeah.
If you take a Nastika, right? If you take today's scientists, right?
Yeah.
They will say
Yeah.
there is nothing like Jiva. Or your brain itself is creating this consciousness.
Correct.
Apaurusheyatva, Veda Apaurusheyatva. Yeah. So we will talk about this thing in the next session. Madhvesha Krishnarpanastu. We will come to this question then. I don't know, Sud has asked deep sleep. We don't know anything happening, but that is not true. We will talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is not the case. We do know that we are experiencing bliss, because after I wake up from deep sleep, you make this judgment. So far, I was very, very happy. Okay, I slept very happy. If you didn't experience that, who is making that judgment?
Yeah, it's true. I was not aware of anything outside that time.
Yeah. All right, people.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. Let's meet next week. Any
Thank you.
other
Thank you very
questions,
much.
please feel free to ask it on the group till we make some other arrangements. We have recorded this one today. You know, you may have seen some messages around